Okay, it is time to do the Departed. So we must enter the mansion and go through most of the ordeal. Now, I don't remember all the choices, so it's possible we could flounder a bit. If I can remember, I'm going to try to save before certain choices in case I have to do emergency reload. From what I was reading, the time estimate for this should be about half an hour, and then we can actually skip to the 7th ending. Okay, my own corpse. So right here they're talking about Michel's crucifixion. You can see that the biggest time sink here is just... Oh, I need to turn auto off. Whenever you have to make a choice, that causes the skip feature to come to a stop. So, just like that, we've commenced Rose Manor. And it's probably a segment like this that's going to make you appreciate how long the game actually is. I haven't really been keeping track of how long the thing has taken, but it's looking to be a minimum of 30 hours, I want to say. And it looks like these transitions may also cancel the skip feature. Nope, that's cool. So I think right around here is when I put the break in the first video. So I click the mouse, let's see if that broke the skip. So one thing I was actually trying to read there, which is why I went quiet, is I'm trying to see if the white-haired girl's name is still blocked out. If you remember, it used to be X'd out. Since we actually know who she is, since we're doing The Departed. I was wondering if that would come up. It's possible it could be an issue for the Beast chapter because it can't, there was a lot of stuff grayed out there, X'd out, what we're going to think of it as. So I think right here was the start of the third video, but I'm not entirely sure. If I remember correctly, Rose Manor lasted 3 videos? Actually, it might have been 4. Like, I don't remember offhand if the whole blood scenes were actually there or not. It was supposed to stop when we actually hit the scenes that are new. Oh well. So yeah, Giselle has a different sprite now. Courtesy of the DS version. Hey, there's Arthur. I was kind of forgetting who he actually was. Apparently the fiancé. And right here we're coming up with a close shave. might give you nightmares. The important thing is that it's not a bloody scalp or anything, so that means she's still alive. Okay, I saw another one of those bloody scenes, that's why I stopped and tried to click through. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if the purple is better than the gray. No, his stuff is still X'd out. So, here's where the merchant gets eaten. Yeah, I definitely don't miss these laughing scenes. And then these scroll on their own, I can't speed through them any faster from the look of it. So, you know, now that if you actually sit and think about it, Yukimasa and Pauline can't be the only ones kind of cursed here. All those people that wander in the mansion and get killed by him, I kind of wonder if those are supposed to be the people who drink the saint's blood and stuff like that. It would kind of make sense for them to be here a little bit then, since there would be a bit of a grudge. They used money for her blood, stuff like that. But yeah, these are mostly disposable characters, I guess. That's the end of Pauline. Yeah, we never figured out how Hafi fit into all this, did we? One thing I'm trying to think of now is he the only named character who didn't have a tie into the whole, well, the death of Morgana? For the third chapter, the only characters we see on screen, if I remember correctly, were Jacopo and Maria. For the first chapter, it was Mel and Nellie. Javi kind of stands out here. And he looks weird as hell in that picture. Definitely not his finest hour. Now, unfortunately, I don't really remember where the breaks were in this chapter. I'm trying to think of how many parts it was even, but I'm even drawing a blank there. I didn't really think this chapter was really that good. Okay, this right here is the point where I think this one exceeds the length of the previous chapter. He might want more of the Achilles route. Okay, that's the second one down. Or no, not yet. That's right, we have to have the big fight scene at the end. So this is the whole thing where he first discovers his bloodlust, I think. He frames the guy and then executes him. Here we go. And without the leash, he reverts to the beast. Just to play it safe, let's go ahead and drop a save here. The departed found the dim orange more comforting than the all-consuming darkness. The departed asked the maid, "When was this mansion built?" "You know more about that than me, master." "Not a thing. You have not yet regained your memories, so I was simply teasing you." Okay, this starts the Pig Iron Manor. So, we don't have the key to the master bedroom, I think it is, since we have reached the painting. So yeah, we'll get to see which segment was longer, the second one or the third one, based on the time it takes to get through this. I want to say that the first one took something like 4 minutes, maybe? And then Yukimasa's section was massive, it's like 8 minutes. kind of wish there were a better skip feature at this point, to be honest. I was wondering if there would actually be like new lines inside the chapters, but so far we can clearly see that's not the case. It looked like there was something new for Mel. I'm not entirely sure on that one or not, but I did not see anything for Yukimasa, and my expectations are a little low for Jacopo here. Bad part is we do have to go through this in order to trigger all the flags. So I remember correctly, Michel was not referred to as the Departed when we first played. And it's entirely possible it's not even Michel who we have as the host now. Could be a different soul altogether that seemed to have lingered in. Okay, she's locked up in the little shack. We have the whole miscommunication thing taking place. If I remember correctly, this dragged out a little longer than it needed to. So right there you can see her transformation that was talked about in the previous video. She has her own little music, and it seems like this one actually did go by faster since Maria's getting a new hole to breathe out of. The Departed decided to explore the mansion on his own. So is this different? Door is locked. Went elsewhere. Made his way to the mansion's entrance. Well, no one's tried to stab us or shoot us yet, so we should be safe in the cellar. Okay, so yeah, when it was all said and done, I want to say that Jacopo's chapter was between 5 to 6 minutes long. I wasn't timing it precisely, though. And And this just commenced Misty Manor. This is when we can stop, I think. Question is the departed here going to be the white-haired girl instead of Michel? To explain Misty Manor, since there really isn't anything else coming up here, this is the false story that Morgana made up. This is when Michel's supposed to have a death touch. If you touch him or any part of him touches you, you will grow weak, sick, and then die. The end of the story is supposed to be the white-haired girl touching or blood gets splattered on her. I forgot how, like a bandit breaks in or something. And all of it was more like a psychological defense mechanism for Giselle. Because if you don't remember, she's trying to argue that... God, I'm trying to remember the order of events right now. She doesn't believe she was there in that time period, that way she could forget the rape from Antonine and just general mistreatment from Michel and the others. So right there was the blood splatter. This is the end of the chapter. Yeah, chapter 4 was actually pretty brief. It was like 2 parts, I want to say, because it was a conjured story. Okay, so let me look around before we make any decisions. Okay, so I just double-checked. If you do not get the key, then you do not get the memory that will allow you to do There's Still More to Be Done. Something seemed off. We'll worry about that later. Reclaim yourself. Reclaim... Like, this is part of where I'd expect there to be differences, but guess not. I think we had to click it like 7 times, maybe, before we actually got it, though. There was no difference. This is the next juncture, I want to say. So we'll go ahead and drop the save, and we have to make her remember. So I think right now that she's remembered, we can actually jump to play it safe, I'm going to drop the next save here that ties that bind. And then we need to go load. I think Boundless White is the closest save point I have. No, that isn't it. So, to get your different ending, you have to just choose Let's Go. Go without Georg. Let's go. Very well. Having finished what we set out to do, we make our way to the mansion's entrance hall. The large door stands there firmly shut, holding in the darkness as it has for countless generations. But that time is almost at an end. The door ready to be opened, to end the cycle and begin anew. I never thought I would see the day. I never thought this door would ever need to be opened. Yeah, these are unique scenes. There's a world of light waiting out there, I'm sure of it. Light. Hardly a friend to me. You don't need to be afraid of it anymore. Are you not at all worried? There's no guarantee any who applies beyond that door. After all, when the mansion disappears, so too will we. And that is the rightful state of things. Our present forms may cease to exist, but our souls will live on. And so long as they do, we will eventually return to the world. Let us press onward, not fearing a temporary end. She gives a barely noticeable nod. We step up to the large door, staying side by side, each placing a hand on its hard surface. The end at last is within our reach. We need merely cross the barrier. I take in a deep breath, look up at the door, and slowly push it open, welcoming the future it holds. Burn the witch. What? We take one step back, then another. What we find outside is not a blinding realm of light, but churning blackness and the stench of blood and rust. Metal clanks, growing louder with each heavy footstep of the approaching night. Death to the unholy. 3 days and 3 nights hanged upon the cross, purified by the fires of heaven. Death. What's going on? I never summoned this thing. Even though we're no longer holding hands, I can feel Morgana trembling. She's no longer the witch, the once absolute ruler of this domain, but a frightened young girl. Place my arm around her shoulders and pulling her in. I stare half dumbfounded at the night. It is our holy duty as knights of the church to deliver punishment unto the heathen who made a pact with the devil. The night draws nearer and nearer, its movement sluggish but constant. Didier, crucify the witch, cast judgment upon the demon. The word witch coming from the delirious, vengeful phantom's mouth proves far more distressful for Morgana than me. Please come to your senses, Didier. I know it's you. Judgment, crucifixion, execution. Didier. No, I'm not a witch. is partially occluded by the dark, writhing miasma enveloping him, but he bears the same muscular build as the Didier I knew in life, and he's unwaveringly determined to see us executed. He draws ever nearer, pushing us back into the mansion. Morgana, if you run into Giselle out there, take care of her, okay? What? You must make it outside. Michel, only your soul has the power to destroy the mansion. Crucify the witch. The knight slams an armored foot against the ground, and as he raises his blade, I grab Morgana by the shoulders and shove her out the door. Michel. Once she's beyond the barrier, her body quickly fades out of sight. Meanwhile, death. The knight's blade pierces my breast, in the very same place it did at my life's end. Despite not having a body of flesh, blood spurts from the wound, staining my clothes red and dripping down my chest to form a puddle beneath me. Didier, it is my duty to punish the impure. Didier, please, to uphold the Ballinger name. Snap out of it. It is my duty as the eldest son. Didier, it looks like you're the same as us, trapped by your own curse, shackled by the weight of all your responsibilities as a knight and as the firstborn son. It is my duty to kill the witch. This doesn't have to go on any longer. Didier, if I could, I'd release you from these bonds, but I no longer can. If I don't do something, though, you're liable to spend eternity drifting through the darkness in the chains of your obsession. Which leaves me one option, to provide you salvation. Didier. I'll save you, Didier. I'll save you from your duty. Do you remember when you and Gale were practice sword fighting out in the courtyard? I always wanted to join you, but I never did get the chance. I wanted to hold a sword in my hands. I wanted you to teach me how to use it. This is not how I was hoping our first match would go. Unfortunately, I have no other choice. Gathering what remains of my strength, I wish. I've held that blade before, so it should respond to my call. The blade with which I extinguished the white-haired girl. Didier. Clasping my hands around the hilt, I point the longsword at Didier and thrust it into his chest. He staggers, falling into me, and as I lack the strength to support his muscular body, the two of us go down together, landing in the pool of blood below. Didier, I won't leave you alone. We'll both vanish from this world together. I'm sorry, Giselle. It doesn't look like we'll be seeing each other again. It doesn't look like I'll be able to take your hand and tell you how much I adore your smile. Mine and my brother's souls are going to meet their eternal end here. Never will I have the chance to be with you again. I beg of you to please forgive me for being incapable of making any other choice. I just couldn't leave my brother behind. I'm so sorry. And I pray, Giselle, that there may be bountiful light in your life. Ending 7. Farewell. Now that should have popped an achievement prologue since you got all the endings. And that's supposed to play out somewhat differently, it's just I don't know what all the changes that could have happened were. So the last order of business is the Departed. So for this one... So I didn't really look what that prologue thing was. We'll check that once we come back after the Departed. So we'll go return to title, inspect memories. Not that one. This one. One more stop to make. And just like last time, we need to pop this in skip. Now, unfortunately, this is probably going to take like 10 minutes. Georg is just really, really good at spewing out lines. And Morgana always seems to have to respond to what he says. Here's the Boundless Flight part that I loaded by mistake. I was kind of hoping I could skip this or something. I get to see the various ages once again. '26 when he died in the feudal lord life. 67 as the mafioso. Then Yukimasa committed suicide. I guess he died at the age of 25 in both stories, when he committed suicide and the Beast chapter. Mel, 17 and 24, I think he also killed himself. And then I don't know how he died in the Rose Manor one, now that I think about it. Maria died catching a bullet with her forehead. Pauline butchered by the Beast. Nellie... Didn't really tell you what happened, like in the Plague chapter she dies of the Plague, but in Rose Manor they don't tell you how she dies, if I remember. Didier and Georg, 37-42, I believe Georg, yeah, they kept stressing that Didier was the oldest, so... He survived quite a few years without any brothers. So here, Mel and Nellie are no longer siblings, they're free to be together, etc., etc. That's Pauline and Yukimasa meeting, if I remember. The wavy-haired man being Jacopo, and I guess the woman's Maria. And then I'm guessing these two don't really need any sort of introduction or anything. Okay, well, you don't get to see them until after the credits. So I guess while this is going on, I can talk about the game a little bit. Overall, I don't recommend undertaking it, even though it has required a lot more than normal. I've done this one differently than other games in the past, and it's probably showed. As far as I can tell for this game, there's really no competition on YouTube, I guess, for uploading this, so I have a bit of a monopoly going. Some people probably didn't really care for me reading all the lines, but I think most did. I'm not entirely sure on that. And as I was saying, I did plan on doing VNs on the weekend from here on out. It's just I'm kind of curious if people want me to actually read it, or kind of do like how I'm doing with Fairy Fencer and just putting it on auto and letting that one play out. But as for going back to the content of the game, it was a lot more gruesome than pretty much any visual novel I know of. I'd probably be told the madness is different since that seems to deal with pedophilia. It's just I kind of gave up on the second round of puzzles, so yeah. One of the things I was wondering if people would be interested if I went back and recorded the demo, since that seems to be significantly different from the main game. It's just now that we have the actual game, that might be a step back to some people. It's just, I don't know, if anyone's curious, worst come to worst, I guess you could just do the demo yourself. I'm not sure if anyone has already uploaded the demo either. Don't worry. And I can't speed this up. But overall, definitely worthwhile to upload. It's just right here we're at a juncture for which direction the channel can go in, and I'm kind of curious for those of you that actually intend to stick around if you have any thoughts. I mentioned I have another novel lined up, which I'm going to try to put out either with the previous video or with this one, and that will be the project for the next period of time. There were two candidates, but the release of one bumped it up priority, and that's going to be taking the center stage. And as for the... there are memories. So the week is going to be your usual RPGs. Fairy Fencer should be winding down, then I have to go back and get the different endings. I hope to wrap up Setsuna. And then the next order of business will be preparing for... I want to cover Earthlock when it first comes out, but the main game that's coming out next is, of course, Cold Steel 2. So we had to go for the Fata Morgana ending, and that should trigger the Departed unless it's been changed in some way. There we go. So I don't know if that's all the achievements, but... or no, it's not. There's one for getting all the dead ends, but I'm not interested in that one. But those are some things we need to think about as we go forward. Basically, should I narrate, should I not? Stuff like that. And one of the things I was asked about was getting someone else to provide the female voices, and the big problem with that one is basically liability stuff. I would no longer have singular control over the video in the event something happened, some sort of legal dispute brewed. The videos could end up getting taken down for that reason, which is why I do not share my spotlight very often, in case you wonder. For the multiplayer games, I am willing to do that, but for something single player, it's pretty much just going to be me here, I'm afraid. But that wraps up the house in Fata Morgana. So, demo, yes or no, it's not going to be immediate, but I can try to get it in the next couple weeks. And we'll see what projects start from here. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.